What's up, Barber Game? This is Juniour, Opoku, Mensah. Welcome in. Make sure you guys tune in. Tap in the Barber Game podcast.
Welcome to the Barber Game Podcast. I go by the name of DJ Meek Chops.
Hey, people, this is Mess.
What it do? This is Marcus.
This is the
Barber Game Podcast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What's going down? Yo, man, today we got a real special guest, man. One of my close personal friends. Got a lot going on from coaches, you know what I mean, trainer, you know what I mean, over at the gym, also with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Juniour, what's going down, man?
What's happening?
It was good.
Thank you guys for having me. Excited to be here. You know,
Welcome, bro. Welcome.
appreciate it. We got a nice little setup out here. So
Yeah, man, it's been a minute. We got an event that we supposed to do with you, so it's good to have this to get a little background, man. Everybody
Yeah.
can see the event. They're going to see it when this drops.
So essentially, it's our first year doing it. My own company, Grind to Shine, my LLC, partnered up with Edmonds Woodway. It's a high school that I coach at. They got a junior football program, so we're doing kind of like 7-on-7, which is like the new way of football, right? A lot of parents obviously complain because real football is tough. Like with pads and helmets, kids are getting knocked out, getting concussions. You guys see what happened with DeMar Hamlin. So 7-on-7 is no pads, no helmet, anything like that. So as a matter of fact, just all it is running the X and O's, right? Running the X and O's, which is cool because the kids still get to learn the game, right? Learn what to do, run routes, dropping coverages, but it's a way safer way to play the game. So we're doing that. We got a 5th and 6th grade team, 7th and 8th grade team. And a lot of these times, like when you do these type of tournaments, you got to travel. You got to go like Vancouver. You got to go to Arizona. You got to go to Vegas. It's like not every kid can afford that.
Yeah.
So the idea behind it, partner with Mike, shout out to Mike, it's my guy, but essentially we're just like, hey, look, let's try to bring something where it's local, right in our backyard. So, 7-on-7 tournament. We got a couple teams lined up. And for me, it's just more so getting the kids out there having fun, right? So, we're going to have some barbers out there. Shout out to my dog.
That's what's up.
We got a food truck going to be there. I got a DJ that's going to be there. So, it should be a real fun event. And a lot of these kids haven't been exposed or anything like this before.
Is there anything? There's nothing like this out here.
No, not at all.
There's nothing.
You got to go out deep. You got to go way further to be able to experience something like this too. So a lot of these guys can be able to experience that firsthand right in their backyard. And we just been doing practices the last couple of weeks, and the parents are happy with it. They don't got to drive 2 or 3 hours, right, just to go play some ball. So
Yeah.
it should be a dope event.
This is like a feeder type of program, right? You said. So who do you guys? It's an internal thing, like a tournament style, like competition within, or do you play other teams?
Yeah.
Is there other places? Like I know FSP has situations such similar.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of different 7-on-7 organizations out there, right? Like this is our first year doing it, but there's a couple teams like FSP, Air, ETA. Those are the big teams. They've been doing it for a while too, right? Mm-hmm. So what it is it's our junior football program with the high school, Edmonds Woodway. And essentially they have tackle football for the young kids already. So right now we just created our own team, so that way we have a set of 7, 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th. So what we're doing right now is reaching out to other 7-on-7 teams like, hey, look, we got a tournament. You guys want to come get some work.
Yeah.
So trying to set up a schedule. We got about 4 or 5 teams. They're going to show up. And essentially just line it up one-on-one and see what happens.
How do they find you? How do they come? Is it just like a sign-up program, or is it like you got to be going to Edmonds Woodway to kind of go to that for you?
No, so essentially what it is, I'm just posting on social media, right? Like I'm posting on my pages. We're posting on the Woodway program as well, too. And we're just posting out there, sending a message out. So if they want to sign up, all they do is send us a DM or reach out to me, or I'm reaching out to teams as well too, and then see, hey, look, this is something that we're doing. Do you want to be a part of it? And a lot of these teams like, yeah, let's do it. Right?
Yeah.
These kids want to play, right? They want to do something that's like they want to get active. So we got a link that you can sign up with. And then so that way, once you get registered, we just make the roster, make the schedule, and then see where we go from there.
There we go.
But yeah, it's open to anybody too. So if you're out there and want to get some work in, let's make it work.
This might sound a little rhetorical, but is it? I love it because it makes it more of a club sport, right?
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah.
Right?
So it's similar
Do
to
you
like,
elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So it's similar to like kind of like AAU basketball, right? AAU basketball.
Yep. No, because I've been saying this for a long time. Like
Yeah.
football needs this. Baseball has it. Where you know baseball has that, but football has needed this for a long time.
And you're right on that, right? Like baseball has it, basketball has it, even
Yep.
soccer. Like
Yep.
soccer now is
Exactly.
almost like a year-round
Yeah,
sport.
club level, all that.
Exactly. So it's like having like 7-on-7 is like, okay, look, hey, if I'm not playing pads right now, one, I get to protect my body, but also it's a different way for me to stay active, but also get better.
Right.
Right. So
And get the scouts' attention too, right?
1,000%. If you're making plays, like you're out here like cutting up as a receiver, right, or even as a quarterback, you're able to throw some good balls. It's like college coaches are watching, high school
Right.
coaches are seeing that too, right? So it's a good way to get more film, more tape on you before the actual season starts, right?
So
What
it's
I-
filmed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
telling all my guys right now, it's like, hey, look, like even my high school kids that I coach, like a lot of them play for 7-on-7 teams, right? Like my quarterback plays for a 7-on-7 team, and for him, it's just getting more reps in. That's all it is, right? So repetition, muscle memory. So it's a good way for them to keep improving, building that chemistry within each other before the real season starts. But yeah, I think it's vital for football to kind of transition a little bit, going to that way.
Does it make you a little envious because you didn't have it when you were coming up?
Yeah, 1,000%. Nah, 1,000%. I'm like, damn, if I had like, bro, if I had an event, right, like 10, 15
Right.
minutes away,
Just so you can showcase
man,
what you
if-
do?
Yeah, if I could just line it up one-on-one, because growing up, like in high school, obviously would tackle like,
I'm Moss this nigga.
right, line it up, like nobody's
Right.
touching me.
Right.
So growing up, it's like, I went to camps, and like just when you go to the camps, like showcases during the summer, that's what you do, right? You line it up one-on-one. There's college coaches watching you, so running backs go against the linebackers, receivers go against the corner, quarterbacks out there slinging a rock. So it's like that's a good way. And I went to a camp. I think it was like my junior, senior year, and I won MVP. And it's a huge camp, probably like 200 kids there, right? And all these kids are just essentially trying to get a chance, trying to make it. So now it's like growing up and seeing 7-on-7 become more of a thing. Like for me, it's like it's dope. So my whole thing, I feel like, is to try and give the next kid the next opportunity, right? So yeah, I'm a little envious, but it's not like damn, like I would, not like.
Well, when we were younger, at least when I was younger, it was like they call them when I'm from the East Coast. They call it nutcrackers. So they line you up, you lay on your back, and then you get up. Boop.
The Oklahoma
boom. Y'all
drill,
turn around
right?
and
Oklahoma
boom.
drill. That's what we
What do you
call
call it? Oklahoma. And then you go head to
drill.
head. Boom.
Yeah.
Whoever trucks who.
Yeah.
Right. If you get his stick,
It's a wrap.
it's over.
And you see
That's
a lot
where
of
you-
that shit.
They don't do that.
That's where you
concussion
know who's serious on the team, though. That's
Yeah.
where
Concussion
that's where
protocol. That
that's
was
where it's
what it
made.
was.
Yeah, because
Like-
that's when you can tell who wants to hit, who doesn't.
Of course.
a lot of kids gonna shy away. They're gonna get up slow,
Yeah.
act like they whiffing on the tackle.
Yeah.
And you got some kids get up right away. Like for me, I'm getting up, I'm scoring.
Yeah.
because that's the whole point of it, right? You got pads on each side, so that way you have like a small little box, right?
Yeah.
You got a defender, and you got a blocker, and you got two defenders. So you get up, you get a blocker, and then you got to find and get through the hole. So that's something I took serious. I was like,
Yeah.
because I'm very competitive. Like naturally, like I hate losing. Even if I'm playing pickup basketball, like I hate losing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like even in that, it's like you can still learn through it, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to fucking lose.
Nah,
Like,
hell no.
I'm trying to win every single time I
Yeah.
can. You
Yeah.
know. So I think having that mindset is huge. Like, and that not just in the game of football, in the game of life.
How do you think the 7-on-7 changes? Because like I feel like when you run in drills, right, and you're not hitting like that, right, you're just kind of like skill based, even like running drills in basketball, like, and then you put the pads on, you get in a real game and you get hit. I feel like it's gonna lead to more injuries. You know what I mean? Because you're not getting hit, your body ain't used to that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and that is a good way to look at it too. But for us, it's more so like even it's not just 7-on-7 we do. Like I do footwork, speed, and agility. Right. So these kids, when they have practice, what they're doing is they're learning how to cut, learn how to get around cones, learn how to drop. So teaching them the mechanics of it really is about being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
When you play tackle football, I mean, you can't avoid getting hit, right?
Yeah.
And if you are scared to get hit, like don't play the game, So it's like it's bound to happen. You're going to get hit, especially if you're on the field and you're playing a lot. But 7-on-7 is just different because that way they can actually break down the X and O's. Like, okay, look, if I make a cut and I get in this zone, I can catch the ball and I'm gone, right? And then when you put the pads on, just like, okay, look, I got to make the catch.
Right.
I might get hit, but this is exactly where I'm supposed to be at.
Yeah.
So these young kids, as they're starting out, growing up, and like they're in like what 5th, 6th grade, like if they kind of start learning that now, like where to be in the right places, the right time, what to look for, it's just going to help them develop throughout.
Yeah.
Right. Because once they do put the pads on, right, they've already been kind of essentially warming up. Right.
Yeah.
They've been already cutting, running. Because a lot of that also is injury prevention, or prehab, right? It's like, nah, hey, because think about it, if you don't do anything for 3-4 months, then you hop right in the tackle, you're bound to get hurt too.
Yeah.
So it's like if we put them on the field, run the X's and O's where you don't have the pads, but hey, this is how you're supposed to move, this is how you're supposed to do. When you put the pads on, it's like, okay, look, I already kind of have a sense of where I'm supposed to be at, what it's supposed to feel like, what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think moving forward, 7-on-7 is going to become more and more of a thing, right? Because you have so many teams now, and like I said, a lot of these kids don't have access to really do everything. But there's like we got a team from like Whatcom hit me up that's trying to do it. Team from like Cleellum that wants to do it too. So it's like parents.
Is there a league for this? Is there like a league that like 7-on-7s get down with?
Yeah, so there's a couple leagues. So it's like one of the biggest ones. Shout out to Taylor Barber too. One of the biggest ones is 7-on-7 Association, right? So that's like kind of like the big thing out here, and he's been doing it for years essentially. So they have like a set of teams every year that's going to hit. For us, it's like this is year one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we're essentially creating a league ourselves. And we're just trying to do it like, a couple of times so that way, again, local teams don't have to travel, go south or go to Arizona, go
Yeah.
to Vegas, go play. They can just come in the backyard, get some good work in too.
Yeah. Let's go back, man. Take us back to just where your background. You from Ghana, right? And you came over here, played high school. Just give it a little background. I know you went back not too long ago.
Yeah. So originally I was born in Ghana, West Africa. My real name, legal name is Kwabena. It's my first name. Means I was born on Tuesday. Named after my dad, so that's where Juniour comes from. But I was there until I was about 4 or 5. Came to America in 2003. And it's kind of crazy. I had no idea I was coming here. I remember it felt like literally.
What they tell you? What does that mean?
They didn't tell me a damn thing.
They're just like, let's go.
Like, no matter where, like, I feel like if you're in different places, like, America is always looked at as like, oh, you made it. Once you get here, it's like, okay, it's the land of opportunity, whatever it is, right? So I feel like everybody's goal, I mean, especially in Africa, especially in Ghana, is like, let's get to America because it looks so lavish, but they don't realize it's hard out here, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we got to really go and pay bills and do all that. But luckily, I mean, like I said, I'm very blessed to have the opportunity to be up here. Came here in 2003, like 5 or 6, bro. And I remember, like, it felt like within a matter of days of getting everything all set up. And I was young. So I remember, like, I remember going to the hospital to get my shots. I'm like, what's going on? Like, have no idea. I can't really understand it fully, but it's my
Resonates.
shot.
It resonates.
Yeah.
It happened the same.
Exactly. So it's like my shots to get me to come up here and stuff, So I remember hopping on the plane. I was sick as a dog on the plane, bro. I've never been on the plane. We never seen it. And I remember I was like, man, this is I'm not fucking with this. And then we land in Seattle, and this is the first time I've ever seen snow. Hop off the plane. I'm in my little...
Straight to snow. That's crazy.
Bro.
Ghana to snow.
We go from 90 degrees, 95, sunny, palm trees, like beautiful weather almost year round. We get here, it's freezing. It's like 10 degrees in Seattle, right? Snowing everywhere. I remember it's yesterday, dude. I'm walking through the Clearport. In Seattle, you walk through the Clearport to get to the parking garage. I'm in my little jean jacket, my Canadian suit, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what is snow? Like, I'm freezing. And at the same time, I didn't even really know what it was. Like, as a kid, I thought I was right down the street from Ghana, right? I thought I'm like, a plane ride away. I thought it was like, 30, 40-minute ride or whatever. So, but then also the benefit of that, the caveat of that is just we get to the house, get to an apartment for the first time, you take a nice hot shower. I'm like, okay, it's a little different, right? We get to watch cartoons, a little different. We had a little apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment with like 8 people in there. It was my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my uncle, and I had like another cousin in there, and we all just coexisted, right? Because it's like when you first get here, you don't really know a lot of people. So we kind of have this like tight-knit community. The Ghanaian community is huge. There's a lot of people out here.
Yeah.
But shout out to my parents. They got here first. They got here probably like in the 90s, so they got here like 4 or 5 years before me, my brother, and my sister got up here. And what they did was they established it, right? Got a house, like did everything and make sure, okay, look, now we're ready to bring the kids here. They started originally in New York. A lot of the Ghanaians in the East Coast, Virginia, that type of area. Moved to Seattle. So we got here, first year was in Seattle. And it was a tough adjustment. Like talking to my people back home, like my cousins, and like, I'm like, yeah, I can't come home. They're like, yo, we miss you, like come home. And I'm like, all right, like I'm talking to my parents, like, okay, like, like, all right, we're here, let's go back,
Yeah.
They're like, no, you can't. And I just got here. I'm like, what do you mean you can't? Like, no, you can't. Like, it's not as easy as it sounds, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it's not like going to California from here.
Man, it's tough. So it's like, I remember even growing up, like, it's just different. Like, one thing I feel like in Ghana is like the term "it takes a village" is huge for us, right? Like, literally, and that's why I feel like even some of the little kids, like growing up, like I feel like I kind of had a little bit of advantage because I grew up and struggling, right? I grew up, like, we had a small ass house back home in Ghana, and it was like the same situation, a bunch of us in the house. So learning that and seeing that, and then coming here and then seeing how the opportunities and what you could really do out here kind of changed the game for me, right? But even growing up, like my brother and my sister, the older brother and sister, they had accents, so they put us at like ESL. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
that?
I'm aware.
Yeah.
English is second language.
Yeah.
Definitely aware.
Yeah, so they put us in ESL, and for me, like I said, like lucky because I got here when I was like 6, right? So I was young. So
Yeah.
in Ghana, we were colonized by the British, so English is our second language anyway. But you go to some parts of Africa where it's like French is their second language. So learning a language, getting along with these kids, it was a big adjustment because we're like, I used to get in trouble all the time, like over dumb stuff too, like just being too physical, like just we play different in Ghana than people do here. Right, like there you can kind of mess around, be physical, like fight each other, and it's not a big deal. Like like we were talking about it earlier,
yeah.
throw some dirt on it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're good. Like no
Exactly.
harm, no foul. But
Right.
I get up here and it's like little stuff. Like we're playing at recess. I'm hooping. I might just be a little more
You
physical.
assaulted him. Like,
Bro.
yo, what the heck?
Yeah, a kid come back
Literally.
crying,
Yeah,
told the
for real.
teacher.
1,000%, and they're taking their word for it every time.
Yeah.
And like compared to me, where I can't really stand up for myself, I can't really say nothing, and I would get suspended for no reason. So from like first, like 5th grade, and that's kind of where it started. I was talking about my dad. My dad, every single time I get in trouble, getting ready to buy a plane ticket, send me back, and it's like that kind of kept me in check, for the most part. So first through like 5th grade when I lived in Shoreline, literally get in trouble all the time, and that was tough for me. Like that environment, I feel like wasn't really built for me. Obviously I was surrounded by a bunch of white kids. There's barely any minorities in there in Shoreline and everything.
Yep.
And so we lived in that apartment. So it's like I got here in 03. We lived in that apartment probably for like 3 years. And then my mom's like the hustler. Like she's dope. I learned a lot from her. She wanted to get a house. And my dad was a little apprehensive about it at first, but my uncle had moved out and it was just me and my my immediate family. We ended up buying a crib in Edmonds. And at first I was like, I don't want to move, because I kind of just started like establishing my friends. I was in 5th grade at that time, but about to go to 6th, like getting ready for middle school. Like I already had my group. And we ended up moving. My sister got to stay in high school, finish up over there. But I moved to Edmonds and it was totally different. There's culture out there, right? There's black kids in my class. There's a bunch of Mexicans in there too. So that I felt like I fit in right away. Like once I got there, it was like, okay, cool. Like this is my group. And then I think that was pivotal for me in my life because if I would have stayed in Shoreline, I probably would just kept getting in trouble. I saw there's a lot of kids that I know that didn't make it. A lot of kids that kind of fell off or, just doing some dumb stuff. So having a chance to move to Edmonds, kind of seeing a little differently. We had a house. First time we had a house, we had a 5-bedroom crib, like 3 bathrooms, huge backyard. And I'm like, man, we're on. I'm like,
This is
Jefferson.
this is what they say. We made it.
Yeah,
Right.
we're moving on up. Like, so I was real proud of my parents, like doing that. That's a big move, especially being 100% African.
Yeah.
There's Americans here that never get a chance to really buy a crib,
Yeah.
So having ownership,
That's
I think, so having ownership, it's like, okay, look, I saw my parents do that. And then so growing up in Edmonds, 5th, 6th grade, went to middle school, obviously in high school and everything there, was huge for me because then I got to see a different side of stuff. And I got to see what was really possible, right? I got to see people that would relate to me, interact like how I do. And it was just in a better area. I think, Shoreline was kind of still a little hit and miss at that time, but Edmonds is like, man, it's like white folks.
It's
right
built
on
up,
the beach.
yeah.
Upgrade.
Exactly.
That's why I'm kind of surprised you say it was more cultured in Edmonds. You know what I'm saying?
I
than
would think Shoreline.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
Shoreline has
And they're
a
not
lot
that
of
far for
Africans.
anybody that don't know where that's
Yeah.
at.
It's not. It's probably like a 20-minute drive, but it's like in Edmonds, but it also like the area that I grew up in too. There's obviously you go across the street and there's big houses, right? There's
Yeah.
$1 million cribs, $800,000
By the
houses.
water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But then you go up the street, there's apartments right there.
Yeah.
That look like the hood or the ghetto, right? So those kids it's kind of like a melting pot. And I think that's kind of where I was like, okay, look, there's lots of different people out there and it's not just me, right? But even then, like honestly, like when I moved, I was still getting in trouble. I was still getting suspended, finished 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade too. Again, just little stuff. And I remember like one time in middle school, like I got in trouble because like, the teacher was like, oh, like you got a loud voice, like you're a leader or whatever. And at that time I didn't get it. Like growing up now that I know, like, yeah, I am, like I can really say something and people will follow.
Influence, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Not to sound cocky or nothing like that, but I feel like it's a God-given talent that I have. Like, and I might just be through sports playing that and kind of developing that leadership role. But I was just kind of get in trouble for being that guy, being the one or like, oh, you're leading the pack, So again, every single time I get in trouble, and I remember one time I got suspended And, again, my pop's like, "Yep, I'm gonna send you back." And he says that, and at that point, I'm like, "Bro, you ain't send me back."
After a few of them tests, I ain't going anywhere. Man.
Exactly. It's been a minute now, so I'm like, okay, I'm good. But the thing is, I would get in trouble and I'll chill out for a little bit. And this time, like, I forgot what it was, but it's kind of crazy. I think I got in a fight or something like that, and I just got suspended. And then, like, I stayed at home. I think I said I was sick or something like that. But he found out what really happened. And then he was like, "All right, I'm sending you back for real, for real." I'm like, "All right, yeah, whatever." And then it's like a Friday, and then Saturday morning, lo and behold, he comes to my room, bangs on my door, and it's like 7 or 8 in the morning. He's like, "All right, get up." I'm like, "What's up? What are we doing?" He's like, "I'm gonna get your passport ready." I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "What you mean?"
You really going?
Dude, I was like, "Passport for what?" He's like, "You thought I was playing?" I'm like, dead ass. And he showed me an envelope. He had like 3 or 4 racks in there. Like, he's like, "This for your passport, for your plane ticket. It's done." And I'm shook. I'm like, "Man," so I'm taking my time, getting ready. I'm like, "Is he really gonna we're really gonna do this?" And I'm like, so I sit there and I get ready, and we're in the car. We go to the post office right by the high school, and again, luckily they were closed, so he can't even get the passport. Like, literally, it just worked out in my favor.
He didn't do his research.
Right.
It was really meant to be a threat. It wasn't really supposed to be.
Yeah.
He didn't do
I
his
mean,
research.
if he really wanted to, he would have just tricked you by saying we're going
Back.
all visit,
Right,
and
yeah.
left you there like they normally do.
Oh my God.
He
Yeah.
should just drove you down to the airport. You know what I mean? Got you real scared.
No suitcase, no nothing. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But luckily, so they were closed. So I was like, okay, that really was like a big turning point. And then kind of the conversation we had was like, all right, you're getting old, obviously. This is like 7th and 8th grade. I'm about to go to high school. And essentially pretty much was like, yo, you can't keep getting in trouble like this, especially in high school. Like, it's getting real. Like, you would actually you can get in real trouble. So 8th grade was like the last time I really got in trouble. In high school, I was fine. Went through, played sports, which was huge for me. But even then, man, like, it was kind of like, it was tough.
Did they let you play sports, your parents, or were they apprehensive?
They were very apprehensive. Like, I was trying to play ball, like, because my first love was basketball.
Yeah.
When I first got here, like, me and my mom were Laker fans, so like, we would watch Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
My dad and my sister were Spurs fans, so we'd literally be at the crib, like, going against each other when they had the big games. Basketball, my first love. They finally let me play in like 2nd or 3rd grade for like an actual like rec team. I thought I was killing it. I thought I was the shit. I was going crazy. And then football took me a minute to convince them to let me play. They finally let me play in about 5th or 6th grade. And they had me on the line. I was playing offensive tackle, D tackle, big body.
It's so weird when they have you doing that because I did that at a real young age too.
Yeah.
It's like defensive end.
Yeah.
Like, why am I playing DN?
You're the biggest one out here. You're the
Like, oh, because you're fast. Like, what do you mean? I can't get to the when I do get to the quarterback. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Things like towering over me.
Yeah. So that's
crazy.
One of my coaches, what he told me, and he actually ended up coaching me in high school too, but what he told me was like, you're one of the most physical kids out there. You wanted to hit. So I had to put you on the line because you're front and center. You're in the trenches.
Still.
The play starts up there. But I was pissed. I was trying to carry the ride.
It's boring.
exactly.
Yeah, this don't get no
Man.
stunt, no shine, no time.
This one, Reggie Bush was like killing it, right?
yeah.
I'm watching Reggie like shake all these. I'm like, that's what I want to do.
USC,
Yeah. So I played on the line like 5th grade and 6th grade, and then as I grew up, obviously like kind of learned the game a little bit more. In high school, I played running back, and then played strong safety, and then so my sophomore year is when I started on varsity as a safety, right? So I was always getting playing time, and because of football, I was popular in high school, and this is like honestly like to kind of get real a little bit too. Like this is back then when they had the light skin and dark skin shit.
No. It's not back then. It's still right now.
It's still a thing, but I feel like it's not as bad. Like back then.
No, I know. But yeah,
Back then they was on me. Man, I had homies, my own homies that was on me, like just like, hey, you dark skin, like, call me Fob, like fresh off the boat and stuff. And it's crazy now how like Africa is now like such a big thing now. Like, you
Right.
see people travel to go to Ghana. Like Ghana's one of the dopest places. Like they do the year return. They had Beyonce go back. Cardi B was there. Idris Elba. Like all these people are actually going to Ghana. They did Snowfall. They shot the last episode over there.
Yeah.
So it's like to see that. Yeah,
I did see that.
it was dope,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He was really in there with the African clothing, like
Yep.
in the market, like that's live, right? And then so it's like to see the flip of at first, kind of being ridiculed from being from Africa,
But you got to think about too in the '90s, like that was a thing. Everybody in California was wearing like kufis and like
yeah, They're
But
trying
that was
No,
with
for real.
that Nation of Islam with Malcolm and all that kind of thing.
Well, it was a thing until like they started trying to flip it. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
not.
It's just now being appreciated or
I'm not no
accepted.
nigga.
Yes, that's what I was
You know,
saying.
it's just now being
I
appreciated.
think it was always being appreciated.
No,
It was
it
getting
wasn't.
robbed. It was getting robbed.
No,
Like
it
people were
wasn't.
going there.
No,
I wouldn't say
No, it
appreciate.
Mess. Here,
No, it wasn't.
Hear me though.
Nah, they,
No, it
Hear me
wasn't.
though. Hear me though. Rest in peace, my pops. He was wearing kufi.
I understand, but
and
he's
linens
one
and
of-
linens, and he was not African. He was embracing
Okay.
It
that.
just probably depends
But
where
it
you
was,
at.
it was when it was flipped because he was in Cali.
Yeah.
He was in Cali.
I'm pretty sure
But
New York was probably like that too, huh? The East
that-
Coast, New York probably was on that, like dressing like that with the.
Listen,
They were there, but
Nah.
We
it's
were in
just now
Tim's, bro.
getting recognition
We were in Tim's, B.
for a show to be filmed. It's just now being appreciated and getting recognition.
That's not true, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Like I got pictures of my.
That's
pop,
one person.
But he was influenced because he was living in Cali.
there's valid points on both sides, right? It's a little bit give and take
In
because
the '90s, it was a huge thing to be.
it was
That.
cool, but it's same
It didn't
thing.
matter what it
They're
was. You wearing them off color, red, green, yellow, all,
Yeah.
all them colors.
Afro man,
None of them
yeah.
match. Red, green, yellow, and blue.
They don't.
match.
They
But they
don't.
wearing them, and they not from Africa. They
Yeah.
from California
Yeah.
or Georgia,
Okay.
and they wearing them colors.
Yeah.
Got it.
And that was in the 90s, right? He said
That
was
was
in
a
the
real thing.
It was like a little
And
phase,
then,
right?
and then what happened was, y'all was like, "I know nigga, you nigga."
I
That's
don't
what
know
really
what
happened.
you're talking
What do you mean
That's
by
what
y'all?
happened.
What do you mean by y'all? See, this is it right
This
here,
is-
though.
this is
But
exactly
that's what
it.
happened though. That's what happened though. Like,
Okay.
Africans
Yeah.
was like, nah,
Back to high school again.
I'm not no nigga.
Sure.
You nigga. Like, what you mean? Like, who? We all black. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
African
saying?
booty
Like, we all
scratcher.
black.
Okay, African booty scratcher.
You're right. That's what they used to
I
call
was being
it.
called African booty scratcher, spear chucker. I was being called all that.
Yeah.
I
But
was.
I feel like it's different though. Like
I'm not
'cause
from there.
it's different than African Americans. African Americans, and I'm not trying to make it a huge thing, but being African American is different. Your
Yeah.
African American experiences here in the U.S. is obviously crazy as hell too.
Yeah.
All the racism, systematic
Right.
shit that we deal with.
Sure.
But being actually African, it's like you get ridiculed just for being from
African.
culture.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like now, and then kind of go back to what you're saying. Now we appreciate the culture. Like, okay, that's dope. Back then, yeah, it was cool, but that's a phase. I was like, all right, like, look, yeah, I'm gonna support it for a little bit, but that's not who you are internally. It's like, yeah, I'm here. Compared to what we've actually like really like been through the struggle, really
I'm
been
saying
calling
like
names and shit.
Pac and all of them, they made that like, or Pac made that thing like, yo, I'm trying to go to the motherland.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't.
Did he ever make it? Did he ever go?
I mean, it wasn't about making it. It was the fact that he was going to be killed, so he can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely trying to get canceled at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he was talking about. If you look
Yeah.
at his whole movement, he's like, look, we want our own everything.
Yeah.
We want our own government.
Which makes sense. Yeah.
Aside from government.
Yeah.
We want our own government. We want our own land. We want our own money. We want our own everything.
And he was one of those dudes. I feel like he was ahead of his time, right? He was ahead of his
Without
time
doubt.
for sure. Because he's still
Revolutionary.
relevant now.
Facts.
You listen to his music now, it's still hit.
Facts. It still
Yeah.
hits. It talks about everything that we're still facing.
Yeah.
Today.
And it's like, so it's like to go from that, right, to kind of, okay, being ridiculed or whatever, being bullied for that, you know, at first it used to get to me, you know, but I feel like I was like, okay, it comes with the territory, you know? So actually growing up a little bit more, like I didn't really, at first I didn't like my name, like Kwabena, Opoku Mensah, like that. I was like, man, like teachers would try to say my name, like when they're calling attendance and shit, and then they're like,
Yeah.
Hey, that's me.
yeah,
That's,
literally every time I'm
know.
like, hey, don't worry about it, like I got it. So
I'm gonna
it's
save
like,
you one. Go ahead.
Every time.
so that's another thing too. Even making the transition from Shoreline to Edmonds, like in Shoreline, I was going by Kwabena. That's what people used to call me, right? And then when I moved to Edmonds, I'm going by Junior. I'm going by what my parents or my family calls me. And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a crazy transition. They actually thought my name was dope. So that's kind of more in the culture being a little more embraced, right? So in high school, kind of the same thing. But I think the saving grace was I was really good at football. Like I was the man in football, you know. So I was still the guy. It wasn't like I was the one getting bullied and picked on all the time. But you make little jokes and little hints,
Yeah.
like damn, like you know, you dark and shit like that. It's like
Things stick out to you. You be like, damn, why you say that? You know what I
right.
mean?
It's like,
Yeah.
bro, what's up? We supposed to be bros.
What
shit
you
like
mean by
that?
that?
Yeah. Like what are you trying to say?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like it took me a minute for me to be like, okay, look, like it is what it is, you know. And I think as you grow up more, like you kind of appreciate where you came from. You know, growing up when you're young and it's like things that make you different, you're like, oh, why am I different? Why is it
Right.
like that? You know, but as you grow up, it's like I'm embracing, like, yeah, I am different. Yeah, I come from a different background.
Only in terms of the majority, though. That's
Yeah.
it. It's like where you're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not the fact that you're different.
Right.
Because if you go to the South, you're not.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, if I go to the south or the east coast, like I'm just one regular person out there. But out here, it's different. Like Seattle, Washington is different. We're obviously diverse in culture, but it's still a little different in some parts. So high school is dope. Like my senior year, so fast forward sophomore year, I started playing football, varsity, and then junior year I started playing running back, starting. Senior year we go 8-0. I'm killing the league, leading Wesco in rushing yards, touchdowns. Like we're winning every game.
Fine.
They were projected it like they said we're going to be 3-5. We're going to be the worst team in the league because we lost a bunch of seniors. So they're like, you guys are going to suck. And we didn't take that. Like we weren't like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, just give up. We just kind of built that chemistry, which is why like I love the team aspect. Like what you guys got. Like I love the team aspect. Being part of a team, I think it's huge, right? Obviously, you can do it by yourself, but if you have more and more people with you, it's better. If you have one common goal. So we were grinding. We were in the weight room the whole entire time. I was working when I was at Family Fun Center. I would work all day, get done at like 10 or 11, walk my ass down to Vision Quest at Five Corners, get my own work in. I was like, I got a goal. But for me, that was my way to get out. Like the mindset was like, okay, because I was like, my parents ain't gonna pay for college, I gotta get a scholarship.
If I'm gonna go anywhere, I gotta do it this way.
Yeah, I was like, that's my meal ticket, and I feel like a lot of black folks like kind of deal with that. Maybe people of ethnicity in general deal with that. Like that's my meal ticket. I feel like that's why football is such a big thing, basketball is such a big thing. So my whole mindset was I'm gonna go play college ball, and I'm gonna try and make it to the league. So went 8-0 senior year. We're killing it. We're making the playoffs. We ended up losing to a really good team, federal way team. They had a kid, Chico McClatcher, who played at UW. He's cold. We practiced all week. Don't kick this man the ball. He's a punt returner and kick return. We were watching film. He took like 6 or 7 touchdowns like back throughout the whole season. So it's a close game. We're going back and forth. I scored first touchdown. They kicked the ball straight to him. Takes it right back. So it came down to where we lost by 2 touchdowns because of punt return, kick return. But the season's over at that point. And I remember we're sitting there kind of all talking, and a lot of my teammates are kind of crying. They're down bad. But I don't think I cried. Like, for me, I was kind of consoling everybody else. But because in my head, I was like, I'm going to go play college ball.
Yeah.
I was like,
this ain't it.
Yeah, I was like, exactly. I was like, this isn't the end of it. I was like, I'm good. I'm going to keep going. And then so it was a reality check. I didn't find out till like probably halfway through my senior year. My counselor was like, hey, like, you got to register for the NCAA Eligibility Center. And for those who don't know, what that is as a high school kid, you got to make sure you have all your courses, right? Make sure you're taking English, writing, all the basic stuff, but also have a certain GPA in order to be recruited. Some coaches can't even reach out to you if you don't have that GPA. So you got to be registered in the NCAA Eligibility Center. They'll give you a number. And I didn't even do that because my parents weren't really involved in football. My parents, I think my dad came to one game my whole entire like football career. You see these kids getting dropped off, parents standing there watching. Yeah. My dad came to, it was a good game too, a stadium jam.
What did your dad do? I know it's off topic. I just want to know, what did he do?
What does he do for work?
Yeah.
So he works at a Swedish hospital. He's a cook, right? So he's not no big time guy. But the thing is with him, bro, I've seen this man. I'm 20, about to turn 27. Since I've been here in 03, I've seen this man get up every day, every morning, get up and go to work. No complaints. Even when he's tired of shit, get up, go to work. Work the same regular 8 hours, come back home, just do his shit. So it's like seeing that work ethic, I feel like definitely like made an imprint on me because I'm like, man, like you can't just sit there and kick it. And my dad doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do none of that. He really just goes to work and just kicks it with his family, right? Crazy. And then my mom, on the other hand, same thing. But my mom got like 3 jobs. She doesn't need to have 3 jobs, but she likes her money. She likes buying her stuff. She's building property in Ghana. Like we have a huge house in Ghana. Like we have a mansion in Ghana. And it's like, so seeing both my parents get up every day, go work, grind kind of was something I'm like, okay, look, that's what life essentially is.
That's fire, though.
The mansion back at the crib?
Yeah, that's fire.
I'll show you guys in a minute, but it's huge. Like, so it's like they're working around the clock, day in, day out to do the same thing. They still are. Obviously my goal is to be able to retire them in a couple years, but they're doing just fine, and they never complain. So it's like my pops was always very strict on me. He's very quiet, but my mom's the one that's kind of more outgoing, kind of out there, like, and she's like obviously a boss, like she's a leader, and I feel like I learned a lot of my qualities from her. And so seeing that kind of combination, it's kind of cool seeing, not necessarily her being a breadwinner, but her pushing the pace a little bit. Like to get the house, it was her idea, and she even had her own business. Like we were selling like African goods. She would get it transported from Africa, sometimes from New York. And she kind of just run the store. Like we pull up to church, we got a car full of goods, like, like for real. Like we were doing, like we get done with church, she pops the trunk. Everybody pulling out, hey, I need this, I need that, woo woo. So I'm seeing my mom like make transactions, business transactions, And that kind of got put on me too. She's like, hey, go do this, go sell this, go do that. Hey, somebody's gonna come to the house, go buy this. So I feel like at a young age, I kind of learned how business,
How to work it.
how to work it. And she had her own business. So I was like, damn, you could really be your own boss, On top of her going to her 9 to 5, her 5 to 9. And, she was doing all these 3 jobs and then also trapping out the side too. So it's like seeing her do that, I'm like, okay, look. And like essentially for me, being able to kind of talk to people. And I was probably like 8 or 9 at that time. Like, and you got like adults coming in, hey, your mom said get this, get that. I'm like, all right, cool. Whoop, whoop. Call my mom. Mom, you said it was cool? Some people pull up, hey, she said I can get that, then that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
So I call my mom, she said, yeah, it's cool, let him do the thing. So we'll make the transaction real quick. So getting into the game early as far as learning how, okay, this is how money works, this is how it is, having product and all that. But seeing my parents work their ass off, I'm like, okay, look, there's more to it. It's more attainable. Because I feel like if you have a good example, and I'm like very blessed to say that, shout out to them, like literally like I owe them like everything. Having them set a good example for me is huge because now it's like, okay, look, I can't complain when I'm tired.
Right.
I can't sit there and be like, I don't want to go to work today.
How you gonna tell your dad I'm tired?
Exactly.
That nigga like, you tired.
Right. And we've had those type of conversations where I'm like, man, I'm tired. I'm like, what do you mean you tired? Like, what are you doing?
You young still. You can't be tired.
Yeah. Like, you ain't really got too many problems. Like, it's like I got a mortgage and shit like that, So it's like seeing them kind of day in, day out do that. I'm like, okay, look, I can't really have any excuses.
Right.
So touching on that essentially, so high school, registered for the NCAA eligibility. I'm thinking I'm about to get an offer. I got like 1 or 2 offers. One of them was like SFU in Canada, and I was like, I don't have the means to do that. I've never been to Canada. I don't know nobody to
I was
do that.
literally just about to touch on that, like post high school.
Yeah.
Because high school seemed like it was a lot.
Yeah.
So like right after, like that
Yeah.
transition straight from that.
Yeah. So that was high school was a lot, and it's like honestly, like I was still kind of struggling to find myself. I feel like I didn't really know who I was in high school. I was kind of just. I was a football player, I was like I was kind of trying to learn my own, which is why now coaching at the high school, it's like all these kids when they come through and they, I'm cool with the kids, so they'll chop it up what they're going through. It's just funny now, like when you're in high school, it seems like it's the big thing, right? It's so much pressure, it's the end all be all. But I'm telling these kids like, yo, life gets better.
You're good, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to peak in high school. A lot of people peak in high school.
Yeah.
Bro, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, like man, exactly.
And that's all they talk about for the rest of their life.
For the rest of their life.
Al Bundy.
You just boom, that's it.
Like Al Bundy.
Yeah, so it's like people are like,
Why would you do that? Why would you peak at high school?
so people really like boom, they think, okay, yep, like I was a man, and you're right. A lot of people like, oh yep, back in high school I used to do this, do that. And then so I was like, I don't want to be one of those, So I remember this like yesterday too, dude. I was got done with school. I'm going to work at Family Fun Center in Fantasia. My dad has dropped me off, and low key, like he was kind of on my head. He's like, so like, what's up? Like it's like my senior year about to be done. He's like, so what's the plan? What are you gonna do? And I applied to Wazoo, applied to Western. I think UW, and I was just kind of waiting. I didn't really think I was gonna go to college. Like my head, like I was like, if I don't get a scholarship, I couldn't get a scholarship because my grades sucked. I had a 2.3 GPA.
Ooh.
I mean, that's
It wasn't the worst, but it's not enough to go to college. Yeah.
2.5. I think they want 2.5, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
we need to
Minimum.
give credit for
Minimum
what it
2.5?
was. It
Yeah.
is passing though. At least.
Yeah. So that's what the NCAA Eligibility Center, in order to really get a scholarship, you had to have at least a 2.5.
Oh yeah.
And my parents didn't know this. They're not telling me that. I had to find out from my counselor, and by that time it was too late.
Yeah.
So
Senior year already. We were halfway through the season.
bro, I'm like, you should have told me that
it's too late.
freshman year, So kind of getting in terms of reality, like, damn, I might not really get to play college ball. Like, I'm gonna have to go to Evans Community College and just.
I was saying,
work.
it's community college worthy.
Yeah, that
I mean,
for real.
even for
We
financial
see all that
aid, you have
JUCO
to have
stuff
a
going on.
2.5.
2-0.
Yeah.
No,
2.0, yeah. Even
Yeah.
for financial aid, you have to have a 2.0.
So I remember like my dad is driving me to work. This is one of the rare times I got a ride. Normally I walk, So
He had something to tell you that day.
bro. And dead ass, we had a real ass conversation. He's driving me to work. He's like, so what's up? Like, what's the plan? And I'm like, man, I'm gonna get a job, go to Men's Community College, try to work, stack my money, send money back home, like take care of my shit.
Yeah.
He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, so I'm about to do. And I thought it was fine, but he was on my head. He was like, no, just admit, like, you focus too much on football, your grades weren't there. Now you don't really have a plan. Like, you don't have to, like, you're not doing shit.
Right,
essentially.
right.
So I get dropped off, and I'm like, damn, like, is that, like, for real? Like, that's where we're at? I get dropped off, I'm at work, and I'm thinking about it, I'm just doing my job, whatever. And it's crazy, again, like, literally, things happen so crazy. I get done with work. My dad's there to pick me up, too. It's kind of crazy. I'm still kind of mad, like, damn, this thing just got on my head, I'm like, all right. And I get an email from Wazoo, it's like, congratulations, you've been accepted.
Ooh.
Fire.
Dog. That right there,
best time. You know what I'm saying?
man.
Fire.
That right there, I'm like, wow. And because one of my best friends, Max, he already got accepted. I knew like probably like 6 or 7 people already going there. And I really did not think I was getting accepted with my GPA, you know, but I did a great essay talking about my life, where I'm from, like Ghana, like what I'm really trying to do. And like being the first person to actually go through the whole thing, graduate. And whoever was looking up for me, thank God, but I got accepted and I was like, oh, it's up, like it's over. Showed him, you know, he looked over at it. It wasn't like, yep, like good shit, but he's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
at least you got a plan. At least something. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where my sister just got accepted. She was currently at Wazoo going to school, so he couldn't be like, oh, you know, it ain't Wazoo, because my sister's literally there, and she went there for 1 or 2 years, and she ended up coming back home to finish. She's doing nursing now, which is cool. But got accepted to show my pops. I'm like, oh damn, like let's go.
Older sister? Your older sister?
Yeah, so she's like 3 or 4
So
years
she
old.
went. Okay.
So she went to Wazoo.
2 years, and then she came, and then she
Yeah, so she
transferred
didn't
out?
even finish. Yeah, she didn't finish at Wazoo. She came back, and I think she ended up taking like online classes or something like that.
That's what's up.
So she didn't even really finish. But I remember like going to the campus to drop her off, and I was like, damn, this is dope. Like really, and I think that was huge for me because I actually got to check it out. Like
Wazoo don't have a red field, do they? They don't have a red field.
No.
That's Eastern Washington.
Eastern Washington's got the red turf.
They got the
yeah.
red field, red turf.
So we got like me. So I remember pulling up and seeing the campus, and the thing that I like about Wazoo is like it's far enough where like you can't just come right down the block. Right. Whereas UW, if you're at UW, like everybody's
Down the
still
street, pulling
right down
up
the
on you.
street.
Yeah, you're not really leaving anything.
You're not leaving, so you kind of be doing the same shit, hanging out with the same people over and over again, still doing the same wrong things. So Wazoo is far enough where I can get away from the homies, can still talk to them. But if I need to come home for a weekend,
You
I
have
just
to
drive.
plan
It's like a
it,
3 or 4
yeah.
hour drive. Yeah. So seeing the campus, I was like, okay, look, this is something that like this would be very cool going in. And again, I wasn't thinking I was gonna get it. But getting accepted, talking to my friend, he's like, yep, I'm going. I was like, my best friend Max, he was like, yep, let's be roommates. And so things kind of slowly start falling into place. And that's when the shit happened. So like, so this is like senior year, I get accepted. I'm like, okay, boom, I'm good. I'm doing my thing. And I think it's probably like a couple of weeks after that. I get the check and go to the mall.
Yeah.
I don't know, is there something we can talk about on here?
Talk about whatever you want.
Talk about whatever you want, bro. We on.
It's up to you.
Yeah. So
And as explicit as you want too, bro. Don't hold back.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
So I get accepted in Wazoo. I'm like, yep, I'm going. I post about it. Like I'm hella excited. And then I'm working my butt off too at Family Fun Service, saving my money and going to school. Like I'm actually killing it. And then so I get a check. It's like Friday. It's a nice ass day. Me and my homie are going to the mall. He's about to go get cut at Chop It Up. And he was supposed to go to the mall with me, but he's like, let me just drop you off. I'm gonna go get cut. By the time you're done shopping, like I'll pick you up and we'll cut. And I'm like, all right, cool, it is what it is. So I go to the mall, and again, I had like $300 in my wallet. Like I just cashed my check. Like I felt good. I was up. I go in there, I shop, I buy like 6 or 7 different shirts, buy like 2 or 3 pairs of shorts. And I fucked up. I realized I messed up. I try to walk out with a shirt underneath my shirt that I hadn't paid for. I get to the counter, lady's going super slow, like. And so I didn't really realize at the time, but I was like, hold on a sec. Like, she's like, hey, do you want to sign for this card? Do you want to do this? You want to do that? And I'm like, no, like, I'm good. Like, let me get my shit.
Up, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to go. Like, I got more shopping to do. Essentially, I was like, I got to go. And then so she's like, all right, cool, whoop, whoop, does my thing. I'm stepping out to walk into actual mall, and somebody just comes up and grabs my hand, puts it behind my back. And I thought it was a homie, so I looked back, and it wasn't a homie. He's a mall cop, security. He's like, you didn't? I'm like, what's up? Like, what's going on? He's like, you didn't just try to walk out with 2 or 3 shirts on you? I'm like, damn. And immediately I'm like, yo, I got more than enough money in my wallet. Please just take it. Like, my bad. I would never do it again. Like, I've never done something like that. I don't know why I did it. It was like $30 worth of shirts.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah, like once you attempt to walk out, legally I have to call the police officers. I'm like, damn. And I'm not, honestly, I'll be honest, yeah, him being black, it definitely had an impact on it, because I feel like it was a white dude, have been a rap.
Yeah.
So black licensed dude, and he knew me throughout the community. He was like, hey, I've heard about you playing football, because I was killing it, bro. Like, I was going crazy. Like, I heard about you with football. I know you're head coach. You said you're a great kid. So I'm sitting here. This is my first time in handcuffs. He takes me to the back room. He's sitting at the top. There's a table, and then there's me in chairs. I'm handcuffed. He's like, I gotta call the police. I'm like, man, this is, like I said, I just got accepted in college.
Yeah. Just show dad the text, and now I'm gonna
Man, now I'm about to catch a case. I'm
You
like,
really
oh my
going back
God.
home now?
Yeah. I was like, man, what am I going to tell the people when I get back in Ghana? I thought it was done for. I was like, it's really a wrap, so.
Damn, bro.
I got my reason.
Yeah.
You're out of here.
I thought that was the last straw. So I'm sitting there. He's like, legally, I have to call the police officer. But he's being hella cool. We're just chopping it up. And at the same time, he's kind of almost like, yeah, like, hey, I know it's your first time. Like, you're It's not too big of a deal, but just don't mess up again. You know, I know you're a good kid. You're going to get over it. And then so we're sitting there chopping up for like 15, 20 minutes. And then at that time, we already called the police officer. And I'm like, damn, police officer's for sure going to book me. Like, it's a wrap. Police officer pulls up, also another light-skinned dude, big, like, buff, light-skinned cat. And then the mall cop told the dude, he's like, hey, you know, he's a good kid, he's respectful, like, he's been cooperative, like, you know, he's not going to do anything bad. I don't think you need to book him. And the cop, luckily, was like, you know what, I'm just going to give you a citation, just make sure you show up to court. And at this point, my phone is dead, like, I'm shook. I'm like, damn, I got to go to court. Like, this is death. I didn't know how big it was, how big of a deal it was. And my homie already left. Like, I was in there for, like after everything happened from start to finish, I was probably been like an hour. So I know by then he's already gone. So I'm like, damn, so my phone's dead. I leave Oldwood Mall. I'm walking around. Like, my first thing was go to Chop It Up, go see my guy, go see Broski. I'm like, bro, what's up? Like, I need a ride. That's really first form of what I needed. So I'm walking through, and luckily Marcus like, bro, like I said, it's God again.
My guy.
Bro, just
For real.
My guy.
I remember this day too. Like, it was right over by the little
crazy.
movie theater.
Yeah.
Right when you hopped in. Yeah.
yeah. And then so he's just sliding by, he's just driving, and like he slows down and sees me. I'm like, what's up, bro? Like, what's good? And he could tell I was shook. He's like, what's going on? So I hop in the whip real quick and told him, hey, bro, like, I just got in trouble.
He's like, I need a ride. I need a ride right now. I gotta go home. Like, I just fucked up. I was like, come on, I got you, bro. It's crazy how it all worked out too, right?
yeah.
Shout out to the cop and the security guy for helping
Man.
out. You know what I'm saying? He had to look out, helped out. You know what I'm
Bro,
saying?
if they watching, they see this, man, shout out to him, because that could have changed my whole life.
Yeah.
Because that was right as I got accepted to college, and if I would have gone jail or prison, it would have been over.
Oh, you
My
would've
whole
lost
life,
everything.
Everything would have been done. I wouldn't have had enough time to go to school. Like, my parents for sure would have been done with me. It would have been a wrap, you know. So
What a disappointment.
yeah, you know how Africans are. They don't play
They'll remind you every time.
every time. So it's
You
like,
never make it up.
it was a blessing that the mall cop was black and light skinned and knew about me through football, which is crazy. And then the other cop showed up, was another black cop.
Yeah.
I thought that the real cop was gonna be white for sure. I was like, it's done. It's a wrap. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
You know, so he shows up and he was hella cool about it. But so I get done in the situation. They're like, all right, you're good. Just make sure you show up to court, because if you don't, there's gonna be a warrant. Marcus picks me up. And I'm shook, bro. I'm like, bro, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't do nothing. Like, I'm not going outside. Like, I'm staying home. Like, how am I going to tell my parents, or what am I going to do? And, you know, he had some real advice. He's like, yo, you're good. Like, it's the first time, like, you know, you're getting in trouble. You know, it's not too big of a deal. Just make sure you handle your shit. Like, you know, obviously don't mess up. Go to court. Go do your thing. You're going to be just fine. You're probably going to have to pay a fine. And that's exactly what I needed to hear. You know, rather than, oh, you're done for, it's a wrap. Because I was about to go tell my parents. He's like, no, don't do that yet.
Yeah. I remember he's like, what do you think I should do? I'm like, bro, just see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Let it ride. Just see how much comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was huge, bro, because that kind of calmed down my nerves. I was like, okay, look. Because, you know, at that point, I'm not the area, but you've been through some shit too. Like, you
Yeah.
kind of.
At that time, I was going through a lot of court shit at that time. So
Yeah. So,
I kind of knew a little bit. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You know, he had firsthand knowledge. Like, all right, you're good. You know, so I was like, okay, I took that advice. And I remember, you know, the ride home, he was cool about it. And I'm sitting there like, damn, my life is a wrap. It's over. I get home, didn't say nothing to my parents, nothing like that. The next morning, I called my brother, and then I got the opposite reaction, right? My brother was like, oh, it's done for. You're a rap. Like, why would you do that? What's wrong with you? You just got accepted to college. Like, I'm calling mom and dad. I'm telling them, like, you're done for. And I'm like, bro, like, chill. Like, let me get some time to figure it out. Like, I got it. Yo, you try to.
You got the angel on the right side.
Man.
You got the devil on the left side.
Not even.
You're
It's
cooked.
more like your older
Go to
brother,
jail for life.
like, excited.
Yeah.
He's like excited at the start.
Oh, he jumped. Yeah.
He's like, get this little kid out of here, man. I'm the star of the family again.
And the crazy thing is, like, his ass, he been in trouble too.
Dad,
like,
he over here fucking up, Dad. Where that ticket at?
That's what it felt like. Like, he couldn't wait to be like, oh, guess what he did? You know?
Right.
And I'm like, bro,
Damn.
like, chill. And I don't know to this day if he ever did say anything or not. I mean, me and my parents never had a conversation about it. So I think, because when I was talking to him, I was walking to work at Family Fun Center. I was like, bro, I called him like, hey, and this is what I'm dealing with. He's like, man, like, I got to tell mom and dad. I'm like, bro, nah, just give me some time. Let me try to figure it out.
Yeah.
If I need some help, I'm going to let you know. He's like, all right, but if you don't tell him soon, I'm going to tell him. Fuck.
I said I got it, by the way.
Yeah. And
Not only you fucked up,
Right.
I'm snitching on you too.
Even if you get a handle, I'm still telling.
yeah, he's like, either way.
He couldn't wait.
Man.
He couldn't wait.
So I'm like, damn, again, the opposite reaction from I wanted, because I thought he'd be like, oh, you're good, like, because he's been in trouble too. I thought
never
the
told
reaction that
your
you
sister?
gave me. Huh?
You never told your sister?
Never told my sister. She would have for sure snitched on me.
Conversation coming soon once they watch this joint.
Oh, yeah, it's a wrap.
Thanksgiving about to be awkward.
So we seen your little interview.
she would have for sure snitched on me if I told her. So I was like, I just told my big bro, and then went to work. And then one of my coworkers, he just gone through a bunch of stuff too, and he pretty much was like, hey, like same thing, like you're good. It's first time getting in trouble, like. It's not too big of a deal. Again, make sure you show up to court because if you don't, there's going to be a warrant, then it's going to get worse. So my first priority is like, all right, show up, make sure I go to court. He's like, you got to get a public defender, all that. I'm like, again, I don't know how to navigate any of this. So I'm calling him like, bro, what's up? Whoop the whoop. He's like, yep, do this, that, and the third. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's fire.
That was huge for me, bro. And I tell him all the time, like, that was huge for me because if anything else had happened at that moment, like, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
Because, again, my phone is dead. I'm walking around like all over the mall, like stranded. If I didn't get a ride, if I didn't get somebody that I knew to talk to me, like, boo, boo, I would have been like, I would have went home immediately, probably told my parents, like, then it really would have been
Panicked.
over. Yeah, it would have been over.
Yeah.
But luckily, I was able to kind of calm down. And then my homie at work, too, was like, hey, you're good. Shout out to JB, too, if you're watching this. Jordan, that's my dog. He's like, nah, you're good, bro. Like, just go ahead and handle it. Like, whoop, I've been through it. Like, it's not that bad. And I was like, all right, cool. So I get a public defender. This white lady, and she was pretty cool for the most part. But I'm looking everything up on the phone, like, doing, like, what's the worst? Like, what's going to happen? And then so I show up to court. They fingerprint me and everything like that. And I'm like, man, like, it hit me like, this is real.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in the system now. Like,
CSI.
like yeah, like, man, that's what law and order is like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm like,
It
man.
was weird the first time that happened.
Yeah. So I'm in there. I'm like, okay, cool. I get booked. I'm just by myself. I'm solo dolo. And then I go, like everybody else does, like the court hearing and stuff. So it's like up to me now. And then my public defender, she did good, honestly. Because I told her, like, hey, I just got accepted to college. Like, yo, like I'm not a bad kid, you know. Because I did have friends that were getting locked up all the time doing dumb shit. So I was trying to tell her, like, hey, look, like really, I just fucked up. She goes, all right, well, it's the first time really getting in trouble. Probably the worst thing you're gonna have to do is pay a fine, but you can't get in trouble for about a year. If not, like, it's gonna get worse. So we get there, and then we're at the court. She talks to the judge, does her little spiel. This is my client, whoop-de-woo. And the judge, same thing. The judge is a white dude, like classic, white judge, big beard. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, it's a wrap. It's over. Like, he's not going to let this little African kid, like, get out of this one, you know, or right before you go to college. Who? You thought you were going to college?
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was a wrap. Yeah, I thought
exactly.
he was going to just cook. And so I was like, all right. So I'm sitting there. So it's like, so now we're in court, and my public defender tells the judge, like, yep, he's going to Washington State University. It's first time, like, get in trouble. He's not a bad kid. He's like a good kid in the community. Whoop-de-whoop. He's trying to do a lot for his family, but not for his family, but, you know, for Ghana and everything like that too. So he must have been in a good mood that day. He was like, all right, you're good. And I think it could have been a lot worse. Like, I probably would have had to serve like jail time or something like that. And even having the money to pay for that.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I think what I had to pay like $500 to JCPenney for $30 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so even having the money ready, I'd have to go to my parents like, yo, like, because I've been saving up and working. So literally, I just took care of that myself, paid the fine. I think I couldn't go there for like 6 months, something like that. But he was like, nah, you're good. Like, after that, you're okay. So that happens. I beat the case, you know, so I'm like, all right, yeah, like, let's go. Like, I'm feeling myself like I beat the case. And then, so again, just working, stacking my money before I go to school. And, you know, my parents they work all the time, but it's not like we come from money. You know, like, you know, a lot of stuff kind of goes to bills and taking care of us. So I wasn't really counting on them to help me pay for school. Another crazy thing is just getting accepted first off, but also financial aid. Like, that was huge for me. If they weren't giving me any money, I probably wouldn't have been able to go. Like, I'm not going to college, you know. But they gave me a huge scholarship where it took care of my first like 2 years. I was able to, you know, first 2 or 3 years, I was able to pay, get there, not have to worry about anything out of pocket. And so the transition, and again, like, college is where I feel like I really found myself, really figured out, like, yo, like, this is what you are, this is what you, like, who you are, what you do. And going into college, like, my plan was, like, okay, look, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to walk on, I'm going to try out and play for the football team. Like, that was the thing. You know, the plan didn't go, it didn't go as planned. I get there, get to Wazoo, and I'm like, this is the first time really being out on my own. You know, I'm like, okay, look, no parents. Like, my parents ain't right down the street. Like, I'm out on my own. And my best friend, Max, like, he had already joined the frat at that point, like, summer signed. And I didn't know anything about the frat. The only thing I knew was, like, Blue Mountain State. You know, they're doing all types of shit. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm not trying to be no part of that. But he's like, come check it out. You know, come keg with it, see if you like it. And if you like it, we do it. If not, you're good. You can always come with me. So I remember it was summertime. This is kind of cold. We were walking down. It's like me, him, and we had like 10 or 12 girls with us.
Oh, yeah.
Walking with us. This is before school even started. It's like syllabus week, right? Syllabus week. You guys know. If you know syllabus week at Wazoo. So we're walking down. There's like 10 or 12 girls behind us, and they're coming with us to the party. And there's another dude. One girl had a boyfriend. And I knew that's when I was like, okay, this is different. The girl left her boyfriend to come to the frat party with us. I was like, okay, they might be onto something here. So we go to the frat party and it's jumping. Like, this is before, like, because now it's super strict and it's different now. It's jumping. You know, there's girls everywhere, there's alcohol everywhere. Like, and it's just us college students, like, controlling everything. So that first night, they gave me a bid. Essentially what it is, like, hey, we want you to be part of the frat. So I signed, and I'm like, okay, cool, it is what it is. And I thought all we're going to do is just party and stuff. I was like, okay, I can do that. I was like, it is what it is. But
you got to pledge.
Yeah, really. So I had to do that. And it was huge for me because one thing that really helped me was, again, in high school, my GPA was 2.3, right? And in college, I finished with 3.2, right? Mm-hmm. Partly because I'm paying to go to school. I'm like, okay, I got to graduate and do it. But in the frat, like for pledges, they had study table. Like you had to go to study table 3 times a week from 6 to 7 with your guys, with your group. So we go down there, we're all in the library, no matter what, you got to be there for at least an hour. You got to like check in too. Because they want you to make grades. I think you had to get at least a 3.0 to get initiated, right? If you get initiated, you got like first picks on your room. Like you got a bunch of different benefits, right? So that was always big for me, and obviously my best friend too. And Max, you were like, okay, look, we got to be studious, got to stay on top of our stuff. So learning the study habits, like going to the library, sitting there for an hour, not doing anything but sit there and study, was huge. And that's my freshman year. I'm kind of learning the ins and outs. And then they voted me social chair, which was cool. Like it was crazy. I got a lot of love.
Social chair, what is that?
Social chair, so it's like they put you in social chair. You're in charge of planning the parties, essentially. So when you have events, like we'd have biads and triads. Biad is when like one frat and another frat join together. Twice the alcohol, twice the girls, get a jump in a triad, same thing with 3. We have these things called exchanges where it's like the frat and the sororities would get together, kind of like a pregame before they go out. So I was in charge of reaching out to the sororities, reaching out to other places and setting up the party. And then we got like a little Facebook page where we drop, hey, look, this is what we have scheduled for this week, right? Syllabus week, you're going crazy Monday through Monday. Essentially, like every day there's a party in what you're doing, what you're going through. So them kind of trusting in me, like, hey, look, and because I was kind of almost like the face of it. If you're social, you're the one that's posting on these pages. Like you're the one that people are like, hey, look, what's the move? What's the plan? So that definitely gave me a little more confidence, a lot more boost. Like, damn, like, yeah, I'm him. Yeah. So it's like being able to do that freshman year, being a pledge, being a social chair. There's only 2 people they voted for that. So it was me, and it's out of like 30 people. So it was me and my other homie, Justin Collins, and it was me and him planning a party. It was hella dope. It was cool. So going through that, really, I was supposed to walk on and try out, but I'm not even gonna lie. Once I got there, 'cause I didn't really drink like that in high school. So once I got there, man.
Yeah, Wazzy was crazy.
They go hard, all right?
That's all they do.
Yeah, they go hard. So it was a little bit of like a learning curve.
Bush Light?
Oh, yeah.
Rolling
Rolling Rock.
Yeah, Rolling Rock, Bush Light. They sell the most. I read some crazy stat line, like they sell more Bush Light there than anywhere else in the country or something like that.
It goes crazy. So we're on that for a minute. Because think about it, you're broke college students,
Yeah, broke college students.
So it's like you're not buying we ain't buying Ciroc all the time.
You're getting skull.
Yeah.
You're getting that bottom shelf.
Bro, we're drinking Peach Burnett's.
Yeah.
You get a half gallon of Peach Burnett's, and that was like bottom shelf.
Yeah.
And the clutch
Vodka,
part,
right?
the clutch part was Wazoo. We're right next to Idaho. In Idaho, there's no sales tax on alcohol, tobacco, any of that. So we go there, buy like 30 half gals, 30 bombs of Bush, and like just have a weekend, like set up hella parties and do that.
30
So, that's what he said.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
You're in
Frat
that.
life.
You're in that. 30 bombs of Bush. That's
So that kind of broke into, okay, look, like I'm part of the frat now. And it's like, and that was kind of a different thing too, because there's not a lot of black people in there,
Nice.
Like I feel like in my frat, out of probably like 60 or 70 dudes, there's maybe 10 black dudes in there. And we're all dope. Like, when my big homies meet.
How many of them athletes?
We're like athletic, but not playing for like the school. But there's other frats that would have guys like that. And at that, honestly, like they didn't want athletes joining the frat because they knew what went down.
Yeah, they're partying. They can't.
Yeah. So they didn't really want athletes doing that. But we'd have like.
Wait, they didn't want athletes joining the frat because they were partying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like
you're not going to practice. You're not
Got you.
worried about the right shit.
You hung over. Like, you're not doing shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, but we'd have. The athletes come to our stuff all the time and get it popping. And we were cool with it because shit, like they come in, they have fun, and like for me, it's like again being probably one of the 10 black guys in there. I was I was him. You got all these girls coming in, all they're used to is a bunch of white dudes, So you see a nigga coming through, got some juice. So, I was doing my thing.
And you're not in Seattle. Like you're in Pullman.
Yeah.
Like you
There's
said,
nothing
Idaho
over there.
border, right there.
So like, yeah, you the biggest thing out
all
there.
that, right?
Yeah, so I'm booming. So I'm fresh out the gate, bro. I'm going crazy. I'm getting love. I'm with a lot of people that I knew growing up too, because we had people from like Edmonds, Linwood, Shoreline Terrace.
A lot of cats
We
got Wazoo.
all went together. And we all joined the same frat. So even when we come home for like winter break or spring break, we'd all kick it together. So that right there, it was more so rather than hey, let's just get drunk and fucked up all the time. It was like building that brotherhood.
Camaraderie, yeah.
Man,
Right.
like we really had each other's backs. Like we were really like we'd be at the crib like playing 2K. We'd go to the gym together. Like we'd be like 6 of us. We'd jump in the truck, go to the gym, hoop, work out. So it's like there was a lot of benefits out of it too. But at the same time, if you didn't handle your shit, you're not gonna make it.
So pretty much, look. So you wasn't doing athletics in the college. What made you want to? Because that's what you study, right? Working
Yeah.
with the athletes. Why did you want to go that route?
So when I was at Wazoo, I got my major in kinesiology, exercise science, and I got a minor in strength and conditioning. For me, I went that route because I didn't get to play football. I didn't get to play D1.
Yeah.
But I knew I wanted to be around sports.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. That's what I love. So, because I heard earlier, it's like you find something you love doing, you never have to work a day in your life.
Facts.
So like I can be around athletes all the time like it's nothing. So when I was at Wazoo, they had a strength and conditioning program. I think we're the only school besides Western. But we'd have a facility and it's D1 men's basketball, baseball, track and field. All these teams are coming in and my job as strength conditioning intern is set up the workout. I'm setting up the workout. I'm setting up the weights. I have the whole sheet here. This is what you do. Checking technique, checking form. I'm also learning how to do it as well too. That was huge for me because one, a lot of people can't interact with athletes like that. Some people are awkward. Some people are weird. Some people are like fetish. Like for me, it was more so, okay, look, if I can be around D1 athletes and not be shook, then I know I can take this to the next level, right? So I did that for about 2 or 3 years, working in and out of the strength conditioning program. Like I would go to my classes, get out, excuse me, and then go coach for about 2 or 3 hours, right? Unpaid internship. And then so did that for 2 or 3 years, got my degree, and that was tough too. Like I had to take like anatomy, physiology, but it was also cool because like I was working out, I was hooping, so learning about the body and stuff was also dope. It kind of came naturally. So I went through school, and the big thing was like being able to make it without getting in trouble because a lot of cats were getting in trouble, like DUIs all the time because it's a small city. There's cops
Yeah.
everywhere. So luckily, thank God, I was able to get through college without getting in any major trouble. And it's kind of ironic. After I graduated from Wazoo, you got to do like a practicum where it's like kind of like a off-campus internship. You got to do it for about 6 months to really earn your degree. And I was trying to figure out where I was going to do it at. So I applied. UW actually was looking for a strength conditioning intern. And, the whole dynamic Wazoo versus UW is like a big rivalry.
Yeah.
So I didn't think I was going to get it. I was like, let me at least try. So I applied for it. And I remember going through about 2 or 3 phone interviews. Like, okay, like, what's up? Talk to me about what you want to do. Who are you? But it's something I take serious. Like, I love coaching. I love training. I love people getting better, and helping make an impact in some people's lives. So luckily, I was able to get accepted. This is probably 2018. So I get done at Wazoo 2018, and then I have to do my practicum from January 2019 for that first semester. And the difference thing is at Wazoo, I was probably like 1 of 20 interns, so we'd all kind of rotate and help out. But at UW, I was the only intern. I was the only intern. There's like 10 teams that would come through: basketball, baseball, track and field. And you have your coaches, head strength coaches, but I would be the only one there setting up all the equipment.
Getting all the reps.
Man, so
All the reps.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a different way to look at it too. Because one, it was challenging. Because one, I'm in a whole new environment. I come from Wazoo, the rivalry shit. So it's like some people are kind of like a little
Skeptic already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Were people acting like that towards you because you was from Wazoo when you was there?
the first week they kind of played around with it. The first week, like, oh, you're a coug, but then they gave me a bunch of gear and like it was all love. After
They're like,
that.
here, wear this.
Yeah,
Trying to
Take a picture with
convince
this
you.
on.
Man, the purple and gold felt good on me too, though. I was like, I look good in the purple and gold. But again, being the only intern, and I was back home. I wasn't working, or no, I was working at the dealership, and I was doing the internship. And the internship, I was there from like 6 a.m. to like 5 p.m. some days, like long days, not getting paid. And I fresh out of college, I'm broke, so I needed some money. But I did that for about 6 months, and that was huge for me too because it really helped me get my coaching voice. Like they threw me in the mix right away. It wasn't like, oh, let's ease you into it. They're like, here's a workout. Here are the athletes coming in. You got to tell them what you're doing. And I'm like, man, so my first time doing it, I was like, oh, a little nervous, but then they're like, hey, just project your voice a little bit better. That's why I say my coaching voice, like being able to project and not be quiet. Right?
I was going to ask you, where does that come from? Because I was going to ask you if you had been on a podcast or anything like that. Have you ever?
It's first time.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Because you have the Some people get on here and they're real low confidence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and they're not used to hearing their voice. So you got to hear you plugged right in. So
Yeah,
it's dope.
Appreciate that. Yes, I mean, I watch a lot. I watch a lot of podcasts, right? For me, because like I said, I'm a student of the game. So even at the stage I'm at, I'm still learning. Like I said, I was watching the Pivot the other day, learn from Deion Sanders, right? So I love watching that. I think it's huge. Like some people, they would see the different aspects of it. But being at UW, getting that coaching voice, and be like, okay, look, I can really do this. I can be that one person, talk to a group of 30 people, my peers. Because that's another thing too. Like it's different being an adult talking to high school kids, right, or talking to you.
Yeah, 'cause you're that guy.
You know,
High school.
But you're the older one, so they
Yeah,
listen.
you're that
now
guy.
you dealing with peers,
dog, yeah,
same age, older.
Yeah.
right. So it's like being able to like talk. And the dope part about UW too, everybody was hella cool there too. Like I'm not even gonna lie, like shout out everybody that I kind of worked with over. Like everybody was super cool. All the athletes were super dope. Would ask me questions like and. For me, I'm kind of like I bring the energy, I bring the noise, I bring the juice, right? So I'm like, let's go. Like, I'm getting them right. Like I'm looking at and I took my shit very serious because I want to go far with this. So like obviously I'm helping them get better, but also like talking about, hey, what's up? Like what's going on? Because we're still college students. So stuff that they might not be able to tell their coach or the head strength coach, they can talk to me about it, right? So sometimes I feel like as a trainer, I'm also like a therapist in a sense, you know, like people will vent to me. So I did that internship for 6 months unpaid, bro. And after I got done with everything, got my degree, I was like, I need money. So I worked at a dealership, worked at a car dealership for a couple of months, and that was kind of cool, getting sales and everything. And then I got my first real job as a trainer. So I started at 24 Hour Fitness up in Northgate, and I was doing that, and I loved it. Like I would show up and I'm like,
And this whole time you still going to the shop. You still going back to Marcus.
yeah,
Because like in Wazoo, obviously that's a whole different situation. You getting cut in the dorms, you getting cut by somebody in the frat.
yeah.
But by the time you're coming back over here, you're still getting cut.
Yeah, he remembers when I didn't have the dreads, when I had the faux hawk, I had the blonde in there,
Yeah, the
like
mohawk.
Yeah, so he's been cutting me for a minute. So I was like, every time I come back, like we would always kind of chop it up and catch up too. So yeah, when I was doing the internship, did that for 6 months, got that done, and then I got hired at 24 Hour Fitness, and I was like, this is dope, like this is super cool. And again, for me, I'm very competitive. I want to be the best, no matter where I'm at. So my first month or two, I'm kind of learning the game, picking the brains of the OGs, like, okay, what do you do? And in my third month, I got Employee of the Month. I was the youngest cat in there. I was the youngest dude in there. And you got trainers that have been there 15, 20 years, and like I'm coming in like, yep, that's Employee of the Month. I won that like 3 or 4 times, just back to back to back.
I'm not gonna lie. One thing about June, everywhere you go, man, you always somehow making that Employee of the Month shit. You post your shit, you pop your shit, but for sure, you definitely going hard everywhere you at.
Yeah, like I don't play about that because it's like for me, it's like I have a personal standard for myself. Like I know what I'm capable of, right? For everything I've been through, like my whole life has been too crazy for me not to make it, you know. So it's just like with everything, I feel like I can be there and be just fine. So getting thrown in the mix, winning that Employee of the Month was huge for me because again, I'm very competitive, so I want to be the best there. I want to be able to say I'm the best trainer here. Hey, I have the most clients. Hey, I have the most revenue this month. I have the most new clients this month. So we was doing that. I was like 2019 after I got done at UW. Did that all the way through March of the next year, and that's when COVID hit, which was crazy in itself. We're in the gym, literally seeing updates, like, and they're kicking people out the gym. So I remember like yesterday, bro, it
was crazy.
And as trainers, we're like, wait, what? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Like, they can't shut down the gym. Like, we're like, they can't do that. You know?
Everything cut.
People like, yo,
Everything.
we can't shut down the shop, and it literally happened to us too. It was the same thing. It was,
Yeah. So that once that happened, it's like, okay, look, we didn't know what to do. And as trainers, like that was also kind of huge for me because you could sit there and be like, oh, woe is me, or damn, like, you know, I lost my job. But that forced me to think outside the box. So I invested in a bunch of equipment off of Amazon, right? And I started training my clients outside. It was kind of around the summertime.
Summertime, it was popping. That was right.
Yeah.
Like March is when it hit. Like everything shut.
And people are still trying to get outside. So it's like training people outside. I was doing that for like 2 or 3 months, along with doing my speed and agility as well too. So that was kind of cool because I got to be my own boss. And man, unemployment checks was hitting it too. The unemployment checks, man, I was making money before it hit, right? So
Yeah.
I was still getting my unemployment, but I was still grinding. I was still working, but I was on my own time. Like thinking about it now, like because everything's slowed down, right? You didn't have to be anywhere that you didn't want to be. So kind of doing that, and that was kind of crazy because once I graduated from Wazoo, I started coaching at Woodway, my old high school, right?
Yeah.
Getting accepted there, the running back coach and the DB coach. I'm going into my 6th year doing that. But that was dope because I was like, okay, cool. Now I kind of get to give back a little bit, get to be around the sport, but also coach, which is dope. And when COVID hit, we didn't know if the kids were going to get a season or not, right? And that was probably some of my best athletes that I ever had right there, right? And when everything got shut down, we were on the field grinding the whole entire time. Like every other day we were doing speed and agility. I had probably like 15, 20 kids consistently. I had some college kids that would come back because they needed some work. There's no gyms. So I got my sled, I got my cones, I got my hexagons, doing footwork, speed, and agility, one-on-ones. And that season, we went 5-0. Like, we were killing teams. Like, we were smacking teams like 49-0.
I remember that, yeah.
Bro, we were going crazy. And it hurts me to this day because that's a team that I feel like could have gone really far. Like, we probably could have gone to the championship. But
That was that short season.
yeah, it was COVID season. So we only got 5 games, went 5-0. But for me, I liked it because, like, the kids got to play. Because some of these kids were seniors. Like, bro, we're not even going to get to play our senior year. You know, and my running back, Steele, he got a scholarship. He's playing at PLU right now, like playing football because of that, right? So doing that,
right? It's
yeah, Pacific Lutheran.
Yep.
So you playing ball over there right now too. So that was huge. Just being able to do that, go through that, and then once everything kind of started opening back up a little bit, is when we went back to. I actually went back to selling cars because I was like, I need to make some money. So I was doing that for a minute, and then later in the year, 2020 is when we went back to Ghana. So that was like the first time going back because I got here when I was like 5 or 6, 2003, and was just kind of stuck up here. Not stuck up here, but I was in school, so I couldn't just leave and go travel. I was in college and I was broke. So
It's
once,
not a matter of a 2-week trip.
Exactly. It's not. You got to go out there for like a month
at least.
Yeah, you got to really enjoy it. So we went back and it was my mom, my brother, and my sister. And again, my mom built a dope ass house there, so we got a place to stay. But going back was so crazy because, like, it felt like home. Like, I remember, like, getting off the plane, I touched down on the motherland. I'm like, man, it's a different feeling. Like, it's a sense of peace. Like, I don't even know how to really explain it. But I'm like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be at.
Right.
And we were out there for about 6 weeks. I think we went from December to, like, January. And we were chilling. We were everywhere with it. Like, everybody that I knew growing up was like, damn, like, what? Like, you're back? Because, again, I left when I was a little kid. Came back a grown man.
Now you come back, man.
Man, so we were out
Came
there.
back with dreads.
Yeah. Talking different,
Yeah.
right? But the cool thing for me is, like, I still understand language. I might not be able to speak it fluently, but, like, you know, obviously my parents speak it at home, so I can say it, but some of the words I kind of mix up a little bit. So I still understood everything, so it wasn't like people were talking shit I don't know, but people were hella cool about it. And we were just sliding around, me and my brother making moves. And then at the same time is when the shit happened with the Capitol. January 6th.
Yeah.
We're in Ghana watching something. They're asking us, like, damn, this is what you guys are doing? Because we're technically Americans, right? Because we're coming home. And I'm like, man, I ain't got nothing to do with me. I was like,
Not to cut you off, man. I got to bring it back to the barbershop stuff, though.
Yeah.
All right. What's like some of the craziest experiences you had in the barbershop? What was some of the craziest, or maybe the craziest conversation you heard in the shop?
man, you hear a
Like
bunch
for you.
of shit. You hear a bunch of shit in the shop, man. A lot of the shit's like, you know, shop talk, right? Almost locker room talk. But as far as the craziest shit that ever happened, I was at a barbershop and this kid came in and tried to get a haircut and he got like the total opposite of what he wanted. I think he said he wanted like a high top fade or something like that. And the barber just completely fucked up, messed up the shit. Like, dude was not happy about it, right? And then he wasn't trying to pay for the haircut. And obviously barber's not letting him slide with that, right? And then the dude had a hat and he walked out with a hat and everybody's on his head. Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't get a haircut and walk out with the hat, right? So as far as that's probably the craziest things that ever happened to me, but conversations, there's been a lot of different conversations. But like when we chop it up, like when I'm getting cut, like I feel like we talk about real shit. You know, like we talk about, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Like obviously we mess around, but we talk about, I don't know, I feel like you motivate me in some ways, you know, where
It's kind of like the same thing, like how you said it's a counselor situation, you know what I'm saying? The same way people
Yeah.
ask you about things.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same way.
That's
you know?
huge because you can really talk to your barber or your hairdresser, kind of open up a little bit, right?
I was just about to tap into, has a girl ever cut your hair?
Nah.
Why is that such a bad thing?
I don't.
I mean, just
'Cause-
like because most guys aren't
Oh,
gonna.
God.
Because we
Yeah.
don't like you, Mess. So we have to.
You don't like me, you don't like life.
Mess, you cut my hair several times. I actually love the way you cut.
Okay.
That's why you
Girls
got
never
dreads?
cut my hair.
No,
She knows I had every different
fucking
hairstyle.
right.
This is a lot. This is my end game.
he was on
Once
Roscoe
this
Dash.
fall out, it's over with.
Roscoe
Down
Dash.
for.
I was.
Geno Smith.
I used to get the mohawk all the
My
time.
boy Geno.
You do look like Gino.
Damn.
That's crazy. He do.
He does.
Wow. Hey, you just got paid, so you're good, right? Good money. I've
That's
never
why I
had
grew my hair out.
I've never had a female cut my hair, but I mean they do my dreads all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, so
thanks.
It's just like a thing, you know. Like a lot of guys sometimes feel like a little way
Yeah.
about like letting a female.
if she's
obvi-
if she's talented, like she can show me, hey, I'm talented. Like I'm not gonna trip about it.
I think
You
nowadays.
ask a guy if he's talented, or you just assume he's talented?
I mean, I've been going to the same guy for
I
years. I know
understand.
he got it. I know he's
Okay.
nice. But you're not. You're
Matt's
right.
trying to hit him with the little.
Yeah, but I gotta see the work though. You know, just like for me as a trainer, it's like people come up to me and it's like, okay, look, like what can you do? What's your background? It's
Right.
like for me, I feel like as a trainer, you got to be versatile in so many ways. Like for me, I've been lucky enough to be at the collegiate level at both UW and Wazoo, see how they run the program, see how they structure the workouts, see the type of energy and how you got to act around those athletes, right? I've also been at the private sector at Ford Sports, FSP, where it's like you can bring a little more juice there, right? You got NFL athletes coming in, you got
Yeah.
DK, Bobby Wagner, those type of guys. So it's like you kind of motivate them and push them a little bit.
You said that's where? That's at
Ford
FS
Sports, FSP. It's a dope
Okay.
gym up in Bellevue. So it's like that was dope because after I got done with college, was working at 24, and they actually somebody in the gym at 24 like recommended me to FSP Ford Sports. Like, yo, this kid's in there all the time because I was in there, bro, from like 6 a.m. 8 p.m. clients back to back to back. I was booming. So somebody was like, hey, you guys should actually get this kid. Like he's killing it over here. So they called me. I did an interview over there. And it was dope. And the thing is, I used to train there when I was a little kid and I was playing high school ball. So it's almost like a full circle, even the same thing with coaching. So I started going over there, training there, and I'm, again, with NFL cats, like real NFL guys. Like,
That's dope though. That means you was already polished even then.
Yeah.
To be like able to talk. Some of these guys you get on there, or not you get on there, they get on there and they can't formulate.
They can't.
Real good sentences, right?
Yeah.
Like he on the mic, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the team,
Yeah.
the chemistry, and
and
Bro,
I've seen it happen. Like
you don't
I've-
have that problem.
Yeah.
Notice that.
And I think it's because, like, obviously with the experience and everything, but also confident who I am, right? I know I'm knowledgeable. I have a degree. Like, I know what I'm talking about, right? I've
Yeah.
done the work. So it's like those type of guys, like, and I'm not like, they don't need a bunch of motivation. They really got to make sure, hey, I'm doing my technique right, my form is right. But they're super cool. Like, Bobby Wagner is like one of like, he's a true pro, like, Hall of Famer. Like, he'd be in there, like, he doesn't have to say much, you know? He's not a rah-rah guy. He just leads by example. Like, he would do stuff, and it's like, you know, guys are watching him. You know, they might not say they are, but he was definitely setting the pace, right? And he kind of make little comments like, oh, okay, that's all you got? And it kind of rally people up a little bit, you know? So kind of being around that and be able to fit in that environment, like, really kind of gave me more confidence as a coach. Like, damn, I could really do this.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting thrown out there really having to read the workouts to
and this is pro level, so now your workouts got to be up to par, like with that pro level.
1,000%. Yeah. Like, it's got to be real work. It can't be no, like, hey, like cookie cutter stuff. Like,
Right.
They need a strict regimen. They're following a program. You're doing progressions, right? And that's the thing with a trainer as well, too. Like, yeah, hey, I might start you off with box jumps, but now I need you to do jump squats. You know, you got to make sure you're progressing, and these guys are getting the money's worth, too. Like, they're $1 million athletes,
Yeah.
you know? So working with those guys, and they're all super cool. Like, you would think, like, those type of guys are, like, I'm too big time.
Unattainable, kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Or
Like-
they don't have to do it. They
like,
don't
yeah.
have
I
to
can't
do
even
it.
sit in those circles, but they're actually people just like us. That's what I noticed from my personal experience too.
yeah.
I've dealt with some of the pros, thanks to Merv. You know what I'm saying? You know, Cam Chancellor. He done been, you know,
Yeah.
Not to drop all these names, but you know what I'm saying. I've been around some of these guys, and these guys they're as long as you're not like super like groupie, like
You can't do that.
As long as you don't
Because
do
you
that,
lose
you're
opportunity.
chilling.
Once you get put in that position, you
Yeah.
act like that, a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
the last
just
time.
Not only opportunity, but credibility.
Yeah.
If you're
Right.
the type of guy who's gonna be like fanboy, like they I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah.
Because
Get away from me. I don't even like you. Come on.
yeah, because you can sense energy,
Yeah.
right? You can, and like for me, that's one thing for me, like energy. I'm big on energy. So coming into it, like, yeah, at first, like it's kind of nerve wracking. Like, damn, like that's fucking Bobby Wagner, you know? That's these guys,
Big
but
time.
just really like the way they kind of embrace it and the way they're true pros, like just kind of made it a little bit easier, right? So I'm showing up like every day. Boom, this is like during COVID, like everything shut down. So we had, man, it's like Penny Hart was in there. Like we had a bunch of guys that are all super cool. Marquise Blair. And I'm interacting and training these guys and doing great at it, you know? So I'm like, man, this is dope. And so that's at the private sector, right? The collegiate sector with Wazoo and UW, go to FSP, private sector, and I'm at corporate with 24 Hour Fitness, right?
Yep.
And all these places, they run everything differently. You know, they have a different set of standards. They have a different way to program, different way to get clients, different way to coach and teach. So I feel like I've been very blessed to be able to see all three sides. And for me, like the ultimate goal is to be able to have my own facility, you know, like be able to have my own gym where I can have people come in and it's my stuff.
On the corporate side, right? For 24 to it?
Not really like on the private sector.
On the, all on the private side.
I want my own shit.
You got let's talk about that grind and shine.
Yeah. So the grind and shine. So I got 2 LLCs. The first one is hard work pays off. 50-50 with my partner Dez. That's a clothing brand. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Hard work pays off, right? It's a mantra I feel like I live by, not just within sports, but just in life too. You know,
Thanks.
if you continue to put in, just kind of like I was talking earlier about my parents.
No, it applies.
Literally, that's all it is.
It applies. It applies to everything.
Yeah.
Like school, you know, work,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
So we dropped that, and that was huge. And that was also during the midst of COVID, right? So that kind of opened up an opportunity. Like, damn, I want to be a business owner. I don't want somebody to be able to shut me down, and I have no source of income.
Yep.
Right.
So we made these hoodies, and they're dope.
I was
I'm sure you guys will see a couple of them.
I
But
was just about to say that.
They'll see 'em for
got the
sure. Yeah, we'll have
motivation
a-
behind the clothing.
a photo
Yeah.
behind
I would
it.
say that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's dope.
And then so we had a lot of support, a lot of love, a lot of like our friends and our families like buy into that. And then so that kind of segue into me creating my second one, Grind and Shine, and that's more so for like my training aspect of it. And it's similar mantra, right? You grind, and you gonna shine. So that LLC, I got that about last year, and then so what I do now, obviously I'm working at 24 Hour Fitness, but with my own time, I train my own personal clients, right? And I do field work and speed and agility as well as coaching. I low-key just kind of got put on with a gym, and which is a blessing right there. So now I'm able to kind of train outside of that too.
Right.
But again, it's like the ultimate goal would be, okay, look, if I don't make it to the NFL as a coach, which I'm going to, right? And we're gonna look back on this and see this. If I don't do that, I want to have my own gym, right? And all essentially what it is kind of similar to, I'm not gonna lie, similar to Four Sports, where it's a huge facility. You have kids come in, work hard. You have turf, you have weight rooms, different things like that. But be able to kind of give them opportunities and chances. Like I feel like growing up as a kid, man, that's all I needed. I just need somebody to like show up and train me.
Is that why you do what you do? Is that why you feel like this is your route now?
Exactly. And I think it even stems for even like being able to come from Ghana. Like for me, I feel like it's way bigger than me now. Like I've been very lucky, bro. Like I've lived a great life and it's not done yet, but being able to be from Africa, come here, go to college, graduate, be the
Right.
star running back in high school. You feel like shit that people
That's
dream
right.
of. Like I feel like I've lived a great life. So for me, I think it's bigger than me. I think like my purpose, like God's used me to serve other people. So even with training, like that's a huge impact on some people's lives, right? Like I have older clients that talk to me about a bunch of stuff. I have younger clients that I'm kind of mentoring a little bit as well. So for me, it's like, again, getting to a point where I can really open up doors for other people. And I feel like I'm on the right path right now. Like, what? I'm here right now. Like,
Yeah.
This is dope, you
Yeah.
know? So, really, I think that's why I do it, is to be able to give back, because it's like, that's all. There's a kid out there similar to me, similar to you, similar to you, similar to you. And they're just waiting, right? They're waiting for that opportunity. They've been preparing for it. They're grinding for it. They just need a chance.
Yeah.
So if I'm able to somehow do that, whether it's through a gym, through a scholarship, through a foundation, kind of open up doors and show them, hey, there's more out there. I think Nixie said that, right? What did he say? He said the ultimate. What did he say? You know the quote I'm talking about? The ultimate. It'll come to me. But he said, really, what we're here to do is to inspire and motivate other people, right? And I think that's really what it's about now. Because I mean, if you look at Kobe and Nipsey, what they did and the legacy they left, for me, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to leave a legacy that succeeds me, right? So even when I'm long and gone, I have some buildings that are standing up
Right.
with my name on it, but I have kids and even adults that are getting better through something that I left, you know?
Any shout outs? Anybody you think you left out? Maybe you want to just give them their flowers now.
Yeah. I got a couple guys. I mean, first and foremost, Marcus, right? It was huge, pivotal for me. Bro, we've been rocking for like 10 plus years now. Low key.
Yeah.
He's been a minute. And obviously my close friends like Max, Artie, Nike, Josiah, Mike Darrington. Shout out Mike Solid as well. I've been working
Because he working with
for
you
a
too,
bit.
right?
Yeah.
Is he a part of Grind and Shine, or is he just kind of helping?
So he's more on the Woodway side as well. So
Okay.
he's on the junior football program, but that's a good dude. I mean, my head coach,
Yeah.
Gradwell. I've been lucky enough to be able to have a lot of like older people mentor. Like for me, I was always asking questions, and I feel like no matter where you're at as a kid, as an adult, whatever, you always want to ask questions so that way you can learn.
course.
Right? Not necessarily be annoying about it, but it's cool to pick people's brains.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I always kind of pay attention to. And I also, Coach Lang too. Rest in peace, Coach Lang. He was the first one to actually give me a shot at the strength conditioning internship. Kim, shout out to Kim. Yeah, there's a lot. I could probably go on forever. But really,
Nah,
it's
that's
been-
what's up.
Yeah.
Get it out, because, you know, those are
Yeah.
people you're going to tell them, hey, peep the episode,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's dope.
So there's been a lot of people, you know, that have helped me get to where I'm at too, and there's also a lot more to go to. But yeah, I mean,
Parents, Ghana, everything.
oh,
yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Mom, Dukes, and Pops.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
first of all, my mom's a real boss. You know, my dad is too. My mom's a real boss. So, shout out to my parents. I was leading the way. And my big brother, obviously, is a huge influence on me. He's helped me out a lot. Besides trying to tell on me, my sister, she's killing it. She's doing her thing. She's a nurse, so she's obviously leading by example as well. Shout out to my family and my niece and my nephew, my sister-in-law, Nancy, all the kids, all my brothers, and then all my family back home too. There's a lot, man. There's a lot of lists, and that's kind of the same thing. It takes a village,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Even my church community. Shout out to the church community too.
I got a question. Where can any kid, I guess, find a way to sign up with you?
Yeah.
And then also merch if they want to look for your merch. If it's different,
Yeah.
where can they find that?
So if you want to reach out and train with me, you can follow me on my Instagram. It's G2S Coach June. So at G2S Coach June. Send me a DM. You'll see a bunch of training videos that I have, footwork, speed, and agility on the field, but also weight room stuff. And then also my personal Instagram is Dream Chaser. So DREAMCHA2. ER, so no S, A2ER. And there's a link to the website, HWPO, right on the page as well. So if you want to get some merch, you can follow that. We also have the actual main clothing brand page, HWPO Athletics.
Yeah.
So if you go on there, you can find the merch. But if you follow me on my main page, Dream Chaser, or G2S Coach June, it should be easy to reach out to me. Send me a DM. Let's get some work in. Like I said, I think being a trainer, you got to be versatile, right? So not only can I do weight room stuff, field and agility, rehab, injury prevention, but also be able to relate and talk to many different types of clientele. So no matter where you're at, no matter who you are, if you want to get some work in, definitely reach out. I can do online programming, can do one-on-one group training, any of that stuff. You just need somebody to motivate you and push you. We can do that as well too.
And we do have an event with him. So you guys are going to see a little bit of his work with the event that we're going to do.
Yeah.
So there'll be a video after there. Everybody's going to be able to see a little bit of
Little
demonstration.
montage of-
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, one
And
thing I
some-
didn't touch on too. Just shout out. Also, I watch a lot of motivational videos too. Right, kind of along with the podcast. One person, and I don't know him personally, obviously, but been a big influence is Les Brown, Jim Rohn, Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson, those type of cats. Right. What I started to do is when I'm getting up, getting ready for my day, I'm playing those guys, listening to them as I'm getting ready. Right. And I believe obviously energy is huge, positivity is huge. So you got to make sure you're in the right mindset. You can't do anything if you're not in the right mindset yourself. So carry yourself well, obviously. Make sure you're working hard, but just try to be a positive person. Bring good energy around.
Yep.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. We had a good one today, man.
Yeah, this was
And like
fun.
I said, yeah. Anything you forgot? Anything else you want to go tap into?
What have I not touched on yet? We touched about Ghana, school,
Yeah, man, we talked about a lot.
everything. The clothing brand, HWPO. Go get you some merch. We got lots of different colors as well. The super comfy hoodies. They're affordable as well. You wear them to the gym, wear them outside. If you want to train with me, like I said, G2S Coach June. Like I said, I can do a lot of different things, so reach out. Man, shout out to everybody around me that's pushing me to be great, motivating me. And hopefully one day you can really make it and look back and see what we did, you know?
And we gonna make it.
Yeah, we gonna make
There
it.
you go.
Shout out to God, too. I'm tripping.
Yeah.
It would have been nothing
Yeah,
without God, honestly.
You weren't tripping for that. You good. You good. He got his praise right when he's supposed to.
Yeah.
That's dope though.
Appreciate you guys having me, man. This
No,
was
thanks for coming
Thank
through, bro.
you.
For real.
Appreciate it.
And just for not being scary, bro. Some people be, man, bro. I'm telling you, bro. That concludes this week's episode. Tune in next week and check us out at thebarbergame.com.